Welcome to the City of Paris Planning Commission meeting, December 4th, 2024. Wow, getting close to that time. Everything's working. Okay. We start with our roll call by our secretary.
Commissioner Jimenez, Commissioner Lopez,
Here.
Vice Chair Shively,
Here.
Chair Hammond.
Here. Thank you. We move to the Pledge of Allegiance, and maybe we'll give you the honor. Our Vice Chair Shively can lead.
Awesome.
Give you a break.
Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 4, presentation. We don't have any items, I don't believe. So we move to item 5, consent calendar. Planning Commission minutes for November 20th, 2024. Were there any corrections, deletions, additions? Chair Shively.
None for me.
Okay, none. At this time, we open it up for public comment on the consent calendar. Anyone wishing to have a public comment on this item can come forward now. We see no public comment, and we take a motion for Planning Commission minutes for November 20th, 2024. Been moved by Vice Chair Shively and seconded by, okay, Mr. Lopez. It went so
Commissioner
fast.
Gomez,
No, you got it. No, you got it. It went so fast I didn't even have to. Okay.
Commissioner Gomez. Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Thank you. Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
Thank you. With a vote of 3-0, this motion is approved.
Thank you very much. At this time, we move to a public hearing, item 6A. Plan Development Overlay Zone 22-05152. Tentative Track Map 22-05153. TTM 37907. Development Plan Review 22-00014. Continued from the October 16, 2024 meeting. Proposal to consider the following entitlements to facilitate a residential development on 12.8 acres, located north of Metz Road between McKimble Road and A Street. Number 1, Plan Development Overlay Zone to rezone 12.8 acres from the R6000 zone to the R6000 PD zone. 2, tentative track map to subdivide 12.8 acres into 91 residential lots. And 3, development plan review for review of the site plan and building elevations. Requested action is continuance of this item to off calendar. At this time, we're sending ex parte communication, site visits. Even though it's temporary, I will be leaving because I have 2 things. I have to recuse myself. I live in proximity, less than 1,000 feet, and prior litigation. So I will be leaving. I may be shortly, but I'll turn it over to our vice chair. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. So, we don't have a quorum on this item, so it has to be continued at this time anyway. So what's our procedure on that?
I think we just continue it by default. We just have to move to the next item because we don't have a quorum at this point.
Okay. We can give the option to speak on this matter at this time, though.
No, I think it should be on the agenda again for the next meeting, so that when we have Commissioner Jimenez here, we can have Chair Hammond step away, and then you'll still have a quorum.
Do we want to offer the members of the public a chance to speak on this item?
No,
No.
because we don't have a quorum right now, so we can't consider that. We
Well,
can't continue business with two commissioners present.
Okay. This time Commissioner Hammond is back.
What happened?
No motion.
Just
No-
place
no
it on the
action.
agenda again, the same way for the next meeting. And then when we have Commissioner Jimenez here, then Chair Hammond can step away with the recusal, and you'll still have a quorum.
Just being totally safe. Okay. So,
You're up. You're back.
oh, that's it, okay. I didn't know what happened. Okay.
No action occurred.
Okay. Just being safe and legal. Okay, we move on to item 2. Tentative parcel map 22-05363, TPM 38643, and development plan review, DPR 22-00035. Proposal to construct a 551,922 square foot industrial warehouse building on 29.79 acres. Located east of Webster Avenue, south of Ramon Expressway, west of Brennan Avenue, and north Morgan Street, in the light industrial zone of the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. Requested action, continuance of this item to December 18, 2024, Planning Commission meeting. Once again, is there any ex parte communications, site visits, ad hoc committee meetings?
I'm aware of the site, been past the site in the past.
Yeah, I've passed this site several times in the past, okay. At this time, you can still open it up for public comment. Unless the developer, is the developer present at any time? Okay, you can open it up if you'd like to. Does the city have any? City has no presentation? Okay,
No, there's no presentation as the applicant is requesting
Yeah.
a continuance to the December 18th meeting.
okay, just open it up if the applicant had anyone. Okay, good. That's for the record, okay. They requested a continuance of this item to December 18, 2024, Planning Commission meeting. If there's no objection, someone make a motion. Moved by Commissioner Lopez, seconded by Vice Chair Shively.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With a vote of 3-0, this motion is approved.
Item 6C, General Plan Amendment 24-05206, Specific Plan Amendment 24-05207, Zoning and Subdivision Codes Amendment 24-05184, proposal initiated by the City of Paris Development Services Department, consisting of a general plan amendment, amendments to the Green Valley Specific Plan and Downtown Specific Plan, and amendments to the zoning and subdivision codes to facilitate the City of Paris Housing Element Implementation Project for consistency with the policies of the certified City of Paris Housing Element, and to ensure the codes and regulations are in compliance with state law. The applicant, City of Paris. Patricia Brenz, Planning Manager, requested action. Continuance of this item to December 18, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. Does staff have any presentation or anything they'd like to?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, you're making this easy, aren't you? Yeah, I know, the 18th, yeah, okay, I get it, okay. Obviously, we're asking for continuance, so we'll just have a motion for continuance to December 18, 2024. It's been moved by Vice Chair Shively. And I guess seconded by, there's only one other person to be you. Okay. Commissioner Lopez, second. Okay.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively, Chair Hammond,
Yes.
with a vote of 3 yes and 0 no, this motion is approved to continue for December 18,
Thank you.
2024.
Perfect. Okay. We move on to item 6D. Scoping meeting for an environmental impact report associated with Development Plan Review 22-00002 and vesting tentative parcel map number 38446. A proposal to consider the following entitlements to facilitate the construction of a community shopping center consisting of a 59,371 square foot grocery store / supermarket, Florida, a 15,593 square foot retail building, a 4,913 square foot convenience store and fueling station, a 2,367 square foot quick service restaurant, dine-in, drive-through coffee shop building, 2 separate quick service restaurant buildings totaling 4,700 square feet, and 2 separate retail buildings totaling 14,520 square feet on 10.55 acres. Located on the southeast corner of Placentia Avenue and Paris Boulevard in a commercial community zone. 1, conditional use permit to permit the proposed convenience store and vehicle fueling station and the drive-through businesses at the community shopping center, and development plan review for the master site plan and building elevations for the community shopping center. Requested action, conduct a public scoping meeting to review, discuss, and provide comments regarding a proposed project for the preparation of an environmental impact report. And just for the sake of legalities, is there any drive-bys, any site visits, any ad hoc committee meetings?
I drive by the site very frequently.
I drive by the site as well.
Same here, all 3 of us. Okay. Just to remember and a reminder, this is a scoping meeting, so I don't think these 3 would do that. But we're not to get into the architecture, we're not to get into all the plans. It's a scoping meeting, and staff will express what those particular elements will be addressed. And also Mr. Michael Brown, if necessary. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond, for that introduction, and good evening, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Alfredo Garcia, and as mentioned, we have the Vallarta Marketplace Community Shopping Center EIR scoping session. And as mentioned, this evening will be a 2-part. I'll present the architecture and site plan features of the project, and Mr. Ryan Birdsey will explain the CEQA component of the project. So a little information about the purpose of the scoping session. It is to provide information on the proposed Vallarta Marketplace Community Shopping Center project. Oh, something happened here. It is to allow the Planning Commission, interested persons, organizations, and agencies the opportunity to comment on the preliminary assessment of the environmental issues that would need to be addressed in the project EIR. And again, as mentioned, no action is required at this time for the proposed project. The project site is located on 10.5 acres. It's located at the southeast corner of Placencia Avenue and Paris Boulevard. Currently, we have residences across the street along Placencia Avenue, east and south of the project site. Excuse me. With respect to the general plan and land use designation, it is both consistent for community commercial, which allow commercial uses as a matter of right, and allows for drive-through businesses and vehicle fueling stations subject to the granting of a conditional use permit. Here is a view south of the subject site from Placencia Avenue. And here's a view east from Paris Boulevard. And here is a southeast at the corner of Paris Boulevard and Placencia Avenue. With respect to the Airport Land Use Committee compatibility map, the site is located in the C1 primary departure zone, which allows for commercial uses. Here's a snapshot of the site plan and just a brief description, as Mr. Hammond had mentioned earlier. Try not to get into a whole lot of details about it. The applicant is proposing the Vallarta Supermarket as a main anchor, consisting of 59,371 square feet. A junior anchor consisting of 15,000 square feet. Convenience store slash vehicle fueling station consisting of 4,900 square feet. Coffee restaurant with drive-through consisting of 2,300 square feet. Quick service restaurant, 2,600 square feet. Another quick service restaurant of 2,000 square feet with its drive-through. Retail building of 7,500 square feet. And another retail building consisting of 7,000 square feet. With respect to the access and circulation of the site, the primary access is via a two-way aisle along Paris Boulevard and Plasencia Avenue for domestic vehicles to have full access to the site. The driveways located closest to the intersection of Paris and Plasencia are only for domestic vehicles with a right turn only. Excuse me. And truck access will be from the easterly driveway along Plasencia Avenue with a right turn only. And they will exit along the southern driveway along Paris Boulevard with a right out only. Here's just a brief snapshot of some of the architecture that's being proposed. As you can see, the project incorporates a Spanish-style architecture. It blends classic Spanish elements with some modern innovation. Some of the additional features are the rafter tails, Spanish tiles, decorative ironwork, red clay roof tiles that we feel will attract customers and provide an enhanced shopping experience. Here are some additional site enhancements. We have decorative shopping cart stations, walkable paths of travel for pedestrians, stamped concrete driveway entrances, and decorative trash enclosures. These are just some 2D elevations of the Vallarta Market and the junior tenants. And here are some building elevations of some of the drive-through businesses and the fueling station. As you can see, the same roof tiles and Spanish tiles and rafter tails, the same elements are carried out throughout the entire site for consistency purposes. Here's a snapshot of the landscape plan. They are providing 11% landscaping, which exceeds the 10%. But when you look at the scheme of the size of the project site, it's 51,000 square feet of landscaping. And that concludes my portion. I'm going to let Mr. Ryan Birdsey, who's the environmental consultant, present the CEQA aspect of the project. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just for the record, you do state your full name and spell your last name for us.
Yeah, Ryan Birdsey, Birdseye, like bird's eye, but not close enough to the frozen food fortune. Birdsey Planning Group, and I'm working with the applicant on the environmental documentation for the proposed project. As Alfredo mentioned, the purpose of the presentation overview is to talk first about the Environmental Quality Act, the purpose of the scoping process, which I'm sure you're familiar with, the purpose of the EIR, environmental factors to be evaluated in the EIR, draft EIR, the technical studies that we've prepared, the preliminary schedule, and opportunities to comment, contact information, and so forth. We all know that the CEQA, the purpose of the CEQA process is to inform governmental decision makers and the public on the process and environmental issues that could be adversely affected by a proposed project. It's also a method for identifying methods of reducing or avoiding environmental impacts, preventing significant environmental impacts by requiring changes, alternatives, or mitigation measures, and disclosing to the public why a project was approved if it would, in fact, result in significant environmental impacts. So as Alfredo mentioned, the purpose of the scoping meeting is to obtain comments on the EIR process, but it was based primarily on the initial study that was prepared for the proposed project. And through that process, it was determined that the project would require preparation of an environmental impact report to evaluate those issues that couldn't be mitigated to less than significant. As part of the scoping the CEQA process, then this scoping meeting is being conducted to inform the public of the project and solicit guidance and comments from the public and agencies on the environmental issues, disclose preparation of the EIR and potential impacts being reviewed. So the purpose of the EIR is to share information regarding project impacts, identify methods to avoid or reduce impacts or mitigation. What can we do to reduce the severity of potential environmental effects? And we also evaluate the project alternatives. What could we do to reduce the level of significance with respect to the environmental issues studied for the proposed project, as well as we promote interagency coordination and public review, as well as providing a comprehensive document to inform decision makers. The EIR process is shown here in this flow chart, and we are in between the first and second lines there. We've already put together an initial study and notice of preparation, which was sent out on November 22nd, and we're in the process of preparing the draft EIR at this point. The notice of preparation that was sent out contains a brief description of the project, its location, and where the documents relating to the project can be found. It also notifies the responsible agencies and other interested parties that an EIR is being prepared, solicit input regarding the scope, focus, and content of the EIR, and it's distributed for a period of 30 days for public review, agency review, and to provide opportunity comment. As I said, that started on November 22nd, 2024. And that goes through December 23rd of 2024. So the purpose this evening then is to provide a description of the project, with which Alfredo did, and as I mentioned, solicit comments. As I referenced, the scoping process runs through December 23rd, and the scope of the environmental analysis is certainly contains the responses from responsible agencies as well as Planning Commission and members of the public regarding the project. So environmental issues that we studied in the initial study are all 20 of the topical issues, from aesthetics through wildfire, and as well as the mandatory findings of significance. We've had a number of technical studies prepared, including the air quality, greenhouse gases, biological, cultural, geotechnical, Phase 1, ESA, hydrology, water quality, noise, traffic impact assessment, as well as the vehicle miles traveled memorandum. So what we ended up with at the end of the initial study process is that the project would exceed the daily air quality emission thresholds, as well as the annual greenhouse gas emission standards of 3,000 metric tons annually for commercial projects. It's worth noting that the air emissions, the average daily air emissions do not exceed the South Coast AQMD daily threshold. It's only on the peak weekend days where there's a lot of activity at a supermarket, convenience stores, and the restaurants and so forth. But exceedance is an exceedant, so that is on the list of the 2 items that we were unable to mitigate below a level of significance. So our EIR will be focused on those 2, at this point, focused on those 2 topical issues. Other EIR topics we'll address certainly is the cumulative impacts of that project in combination with other developments within that area, and then an alternatives analysis, which will include a reasonable range of alternatives, including the no action project alternative, which is required, and then typically a lesser intense or less density on the site to see how that plays in terms of reducing our overall daily emissions and annual greenhouse gas emissions. As I said earlier, we've published the NOP on November 22nd. It runs through December 23rd. We believe the public review draft of the EIR will be ready in early 2024. And then response to comments, final EIR, spring of 2024. And then come back to Planning Commission recommendation and City Council on the final action in spring of 2024. So that's where we are at this point. The notice of preparation and initial study can be found at the city's website. And we did provide hard copies of the initial study and a flash drive with the technical reports to Alfredo. So those that want to come and view that documentation at the city can do so. And that's Alfredo's contact information. We know how to get a hold of him, and if we're, there he is right there. So it's very convenient this evening. And with that, I open it up for any questions that the commission may have regarding the project and the environmental impact report content.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I can just make one quick clarification on the presentation. There was a typo on the date when the public, when the draft EIR will be available for public review. It would be early 2025.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops.
I don't know how I missed that, too.
Got behind myself.
Yes.
That was my fault, sorry.
Back to the future, right?
We just want to make, I just wanted to make that clarification.
thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unless we're in 2023, nobody told me. Right? Okay. Okay, thank you. We're going to have, I need specification before I get to any questions
Okay.
from Mr. Brown, probably, because why we're doing this in the first place. Generally, you have infill development, I know, but we need explanation anyway.
Good evening, Commissioners. As Mr. Birdsey explained, he did the initial study analysis to evaluate all potential impacts, but we found that there were a couple that we believe would result in significant impacts that require further evaluation. But sometimes, such as maybe another project this evening or so, there are projects that are exempt from CEQA, and that oftentimes does happen with smaller commercial projects. Unfortunately, this project is just a bit too big. You can have infill. This would be technically an infill development project, but to be exempt from CEQA, it has to be no greater than 5 acres in size. So we do have to go beyond that exemption analysis and evaluate things further, at least in an initial study that might support a mitigated negative declaration, for example. But in this case, we're having to do an EIR. But it's a focused EIR that will be looking at the two topics. All of the other topics, as Mr. Birdsey said, have been evaluated in detail in the initial study and supported by technical reports that are appendices to the initial study. So things like traffic, things like biology, cultural resources, all of those other topics have been studied by staff and determined to be either less than significant on their own or less than significant with the mitigation measures that are recommended in the initial study. It's only those things that we do not know at this point in time will be less than significant that are going to be further evaluated in the EIR.
Oh, thank you. I think one quick question, I'll leave it to staff to ask the developer. Should in the case in the future that obviously if it can't be mitigated, in terms of that, Ed, would we need a statement of overriding conditions on this particular project?
If the impact would be significant and unavoidable, cannot be reduced to a less than significant level, then yes, that is exactly the case. The Planning Commission is the deciding authority on this project, and so you would have to decide to approve a statement of overriding considerations before you could approve the project.
Okay, so we are the last say.
On this project, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir, thank you. All right. Any questions for staff and or developer? Is the developer here?
Chewy is the architect representing
architect,
the applicant.
If they had a presentation at all, we're welcome to come. Okay. Yeah, sorry, let's go back. Any questions for the staff and/or development?
Hey, good evening. So in regards to the noise and the light pollution of the project, how far of a radius are you guys looking to study the impacts of?
We looked at noise impacts at the neighboring residences to the east, south, and then across Placentia to the north.
Was there a certain measurement or certain figure that you guys were looking for as how far you guys are going to look in the impact of the project?
Well, the nearest residences, I mean,
Just-
we're trying to, the first tier residences
Just-
met the criteria, then, so no specific distance other than the distance the first tier residences were located around the
So
site.
just the ones directly adjacent to the
That's
project?
correct, yeah.
Can we look into some, maybe a little bit closer? A little further out from the project as well? Is that something that we could look into when conducting the studies?
Well,
If I may, Commissioner Lopez, there are sort of two issues for noise. Generally, on a project like this, you have the noise levels that are generated at the project site, and then you also have the noise levels that are generated by the traffic associated with the project. And the analysis looked at both. So as far as the on-site noise levels, the focus was on the adjacent residences. They are obviously the most affected by it. And the noise levels at those locations were below the city noise ordinance standards. So therefore, the impacts were less than significant. Going beyond that, the noise levels are even lower. It's not like the noise levels are going to get higher the further you get away from the source. So everything was taken care of there. With regards to the roadway noise, then in that case, the study did look at all of the roadway segments that were evaluated in the traffic study. So in that sense, yes, it did go beyond that immediate area. It went to that roadway network area.
Perfect,
And,
thank you.
and that was determined on those locations to be less than significant as well. But it was not just in the immediate area. So I
Gotcha.
hope that addresses your
Yeah, it
concern.
does. Thank you so much. And under transportation and traffic, are you guys studying pedestrian traffic coming in and out of the project site?
we are focused on the vehicle trips as part of our VMT analysis and then the traffic operations. We did, not that I'm aware, well, I should say that back up. As part of the initial study, we did look at potential effects to pedestrians as well as bicycles, transit access, and those items that are part of the transportation analysis scope under CEQA.
Is that something you guys are willing to look into, the pedestrian, the effects of the project?
Well, we did, and it's part of the initial study in the existing transportation section. So you can review the evaluation of the pedestrian effects, if you will. The project itself will provide all the frontage improvements as required by the city to facilitate access to and from the site for pedestrians. Does that address your question? Are you looking for like on-site pedestrian?
No, I was just making
activity?
sure that the pedestrian traffic was being studied, but
Correct.
you answered
yes.
my question.
Yeah, we
Thank
did
you so
look
much.
at that as part of the initial study process in the
Thank you.
transportation section.
In addition to that, if I can add, the applicant has provided a pedestrian connection plan that shows also where, how the different buildings would be connected to allow for pedestrian connectivity and also provide cover areas for pedestrians to safely walk from one location to another.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So my concern, I would hope to get addressed is the safety behind the building along the east side of the property. For the safety issues, one, it's a location that, not a lot of people attend, and it's usually where trash is kept and deliveries are made. But if we can kind of look at the safety aspects of that back area, would be good. Also, again, one of the issues that is being looked at is the noise. And it's, for me, it's important that noise is maintained at a lower level behind the property, especially with any reefer trucks or anything else making deliveries, while they're running. And then the aesthetics of that back area, those areas can be examined to try to keep it as neat and clean as possible, for the community behind them on the east side. Those are the concerns I have for this project. And I was kind of wondering if you can also look at some of the efficiencies in how the EV car locations are spaced out throughout the property. Is there a more efficient way to lay them out? Potentially. And then for the architect, I have a brief question, maybe the only thing I got for you, I'm just wondering what they are. They're in the parking lot. My assumption that they're like a wrought iron fence or steel fence. Just wondering if those are just cart returns. They don't look like the normal cart returns or.
This is Wade Shuey with WSCS. By the way, thank you for all taking the meeting tonight. Those are cart return bins. They are decorative wrought iron, and they do have basis. A couple things I will point out is we actually reduced the back of the store very significantly to keep it as clean as we can. It seems like when you have a lot of open space back there, where you have trucks pile up, that's where the trash kind of happens. Also, Vallarta is very big on their keeping their stores clean. I don't know if you've ever been to one, but they are immaculate when they inside and out. So you'll find that that's not a problem back there. Also, video security is a big thing for them, theft protection, that kind of thing. They take very much pride in their stores, and they are the owner and operator of this facility.
Okay.
So the owners of the Vallarta are the owners of this property. So there you have them taking more special care of their own property.
Excellent. And I appreciate the design of the cart returns because they're not your standard returns, so that's awesome. Thank you.
I will say that the project description does incorporate discussions about design standards as well as the requirements for, the purpose of the design standards, as we know, is in part for public safety, and that's been taken care of, as Wade said, through the design process. You referenced noise and truck noise, and we did look at truck delivery noise behind the grocery store and found that it didn't, over the course of a day, it doesn't exceed the city standard, as they're spread out over the course of the day. That there are no trucks that access the grocery store overnight. It's just only during store operating hours, what I believe is 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So there's no overnight, late night truck activity behind the grocery. It would only be during the daytime or normal operating hours for the store. We did put a mitigation measure in the initial study regarding noise, truck noise, and basically requiring that the applicant restrict deliveries only to operating hours of the store to avoid, the project would meet the daytime but not the nighttime standards. So we did run into that and had a mitigation measure which the applicant agreed to. And it's just part of their operating protocol.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think he just told my thunder in that area. The area is the east there because it's maybe 26 feet from houses. And that initial thing is talking about noise, but also the advent of, we had what I call the Stater Brothers effect. The 70s shopping center, and not much interest was paid in this back then. In fact, no interest. Okay, just stuff it in their boxes and that. And so that, it's not so much that as it is the trucks driving in there. We only talk about, I think you answered it by having the time period. So that's a mitigation measure. But my initial concern is it was not that much distance. And so at least if there's not a wall going up or something like that, what would that sound? So we talk about receptors. We're talking about receptors on the other side of that wall where those residences, I was right there. And this is not some little small, tiny drive-through. This is a actual proposed store. So that would have an issue with how many trucks would come. That's where your truck trips and all that get, taken into effect, how many would be there. If you had an 18 rig having to drop off stuff, we might have a problem. So I don't know what these trucks are going to look like. I guess the smaller version, but that makes a difference in your study. So, if you have just just the kind of usual trucks you see, but if you had the big giant ones, then we have a problem. But anyway, it's not all the other issues are, this is mostly noise and just traffic. We were just focusing on those two things. And because the back of the store, because those trucks will be driving in there and not going to be going 24/7, then I think those things can be mitigated because of the time. If we were going 24, we might have a problem.
Right.
The other thing that I think is mitigated is lighting. Obviously, you're going to have lighting in the parking lot, but those standards can easily be mitigated. There's uplighting, if there's other kind of things. We're not in the main airport zone, so it's not as much of an issue as if you cross the street.
Correct.
So, yeah, I think we pretty much covered it. We're not going to beat a dead horse here, but essentially, we're not going to get into all the other things, but obviously this is just a scoping meeting.
Yeah.
Because we'll have 20 questions if we ever get to the other stuff.
Right.
But this is a scoping meeting, and I think they're addressing the vehicle thing. You go to any shopping center, who's to say, go Thanksgiving week, 1 million cars, you go Christmas week, 1 million cars in the next month. So it's really even hard for the state and all the other to get an accurate number. It's almost an assumption, because, it depends on the city, it depends on what's sold there. You have the restaurants. So, how can you really get, totally 100% accurate? But the idea is a guesstimate. And it's really a guesstimate, but I'm through. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've addressed those, not major issues, but minor stuff, and you're a better secretary than I am. Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay. Any public comment on this item? And this item only? Okay, seeing no public comment, we close the public comment portion, and we come back to the commission for any comment, discussion. It's scoping meeting, so it would be only relevant to those questions that did they get down the information that we were considering. Okay, we're good. Okay, and we don't need a vote, so we're done. Thank you very much. Oh, here it is. There we go. At this time, we move on to item 6E. Parcel merger 24 thank you, gentlemen. 24-00013 and development plan review 23-00003. A proposal to merge 3 contiguous parcels to facilitate development of a 24,090 square foot industrial building on 1.51 acres located on the west side of Lakeview Drive between Commerce Drive and Business Park Drive within the light industrial zone of the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. Requested action is adopt resolution number 24-22, finding the project is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act review pursuant to section 15332, infill development projects. And approving parcel merger 24-00013 and development plan review 23-00003 to facilitate the development of a 24,090 square foot industrial building on 1.51 acres based on the findings and subject to conditions of approval, the ex parte communication, ad hoc committee meetings, or site visits.
I drive by the site.
None for me at this site.
I went to the site, sat at the site, viewed the site, waited at the site. So definitely went to the site. Okay. We have a dated December 4, 2024, addressed to the chairman and commissioners by Alfredo Garcia. Item 6E, parcel merger 24-00013. I think we have it in the record, but development plan review 24-00003. Proposal to measure, well, I don't need to read that, that's a statement. Modification to planning condition number 44, truck routes, to be consistent with engineering condition number 5B, to read as following. Truck access shall be limited to I-215, Harley Knox Boulevard interchange, Harley Knox Boulevard, Redlands Avenue, Sinclair Street, Johnson Avenue, and Commerce Drive. Or alternative from I-215 Placentia Avenue interchange, Placentia Avenue, Indian Avenue, Morgan Street, Sinclair Street, Johnson Avenue, and Commerce Drive. Thank you very much, Mr. Garcia. For the record. Go for it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You do half my work. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ms. Patricia? do you have something? Well, thank you once again. My name is Alfredo Garcia. I'm your associate planner, and as mentioned, this evening we have before you DPR 230003, the Commerce Business Park project. The project site is located in the northern part of the city, just south of Commerce Drive, west of Lakeview Drive, and north of Business Park Drive. Some of the surrounding uses, we have office buildings to the north, vacant industrial parcel to the east, and to the west, we have an existing industrial building, and to the south, also existing industrial building. With respect to the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan, it is currently zoned for light industrial and is currently surrounded by other light industrial zones to the north, south, east, and west. Here's a corner west view from Lakeview Drive and Business Park Drive. And here's a southwest corner view along Commerce Drive and Lakeview Drive. Here's an image of the site plan. As mentioned, the applicant is merging 3 parcels into a 1.51 acre project site, and as part of the project, proposing a 24,090 square foot building. Access for trucks will be along Commerce Drive, with a driveway for left in and right out for trucks only. There will be other 2 points of access for employee vehicles. One will be on the eastern driveway along Lakeview Drive for only automobiles. And the southern driveway will also be just for automobiles from Business Park Drive. Also, as part of the PVC specific plan, outdoor amenities and indoor amenities are prerequisite, but since this project is of a much smaller scale, the applicant has gone above and beyond and provided an outdoor amenity for their employees, as well as a trash enclosure and 8 EV parking stations. Excuse me, must be going around, huh? This is a snapshot of the truck route, and as mentioned in the memo, this is only one of the truck route that the applicants can take. There's the other truck route as mentioned earlier in the memo by the chairman. Here is a snapshot of the landscape plan. The prerequisite for landscaping is 12%. The applicant has gone above and beyond, providing 18.4% of landscape coverage. With respect to the industrial development standards, they are all met, as well as the parking standards with a surplus of 12 spaces. Here we have before you a 3D rendering. I believe Ms. Arvizu might have the color board. Ms. Arvizu, if you could, thank you so much. As you can see, the architecture is modern. The building proposes varying roof heights for vertical and horizontal articulation. The proposed color palette is of different gray tones, which complement the stack stone being proposed. And here's a nighttime rendering. As you can see, the wall mount accent lighting is present, as well as the uplighting for the landscaping. Here are some 2D elevations. Top image is the east elevation facing Lakeview Drive, and the bottom is the north elevation facing Commerce Drive. Here we have the west elevation, which is an interior view, and the south elevation facing Business Park Drive. With respect to the CEQA process, the project was categorically exempt under CEQA as an infill development project. Therefore, in conclusion, the proposed project aligns with the goals and the development standards of the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. And therefore, staff this evening recommends for the Planning Commission to adopt PC Resolution 24-022, categorically exempting parcel merger 24-00013 and DPR 23-0003 from the California Environmental Quality Act as an infill development project, and approving the parcel merger and the DPR based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval. And that concludes my presentation. But also just for the record, as the memo stated, staff is requesting for planning condition number 44, which is the truck routes, to be consistent with the engineering condition number 5B. So both truck route descriptions are consistent with each other.
Perfect.
Concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And the applicant, architect, is also here this evening to provide further information that the Planning Commission may need.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Would the applicant like to have any comment, statement, presentation? Just state your full name and spell your last name for us.
Sure. My name is Jacob Leyer, last name Leyrer. I'm a senior project manager at Herdman Architecture and Design. So this proposed development is a built-to-suit project for the owner of the land, who has a small electronic distribution company. They anticipate only 1 or 2 large trucks monthly to the site. The rest would be box trucks similar to a FedEx or a UPS truck. And then, yes, this development kind of aligns with our standards for our office, and we're happy to present it. And I would like to thank the commission and the staff for reviewing our project tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The other board? Okay, I don't know if you need it. Okay, architect. Okay, if we have any questions for staff and/or the applicant, feel free to go for it.
I have a question for staff. I just wanted some clarification in regards to the truck route and the modification of condition number 44. Was that, does that allow for the trucks to come up north from Lakeview Drive, coming from Ryder?
I think our engineer can help us out with that.
So the two options, is this working? Okay, can you hear me? So the two options for the truck route are taking Placentia and getting their way to Morgan, and then coming from the north from Morgan, going southbound on Redlands to Sinclair and Commerce. So that portion you see at the top right of the page here, that portion from Redlands, Sinclair, Johnson, Commerce,
Got you.
that's the only route at that portion. There's another option that takes it to Harley Knox, which is north.
Only north. So
Only-
no truck should be coming in or out from the south end of the project?
No.
Okay, all right, perfect. That's my question. I have a question in regards to the west side of the project. Is that directly on the property line?
I believe it's offset by about a foot. Is that correct?
So the adjacent project will just see the wall. That's going to be separating it?
correct, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
got you. And there's already a project existing right now?
Yes, there's an existing small industrial building.
Okay, perfect. All right, no further questions. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My question is for the architect or the project manager through the architect's office, is that the quantity of EV stations, where did you come up with that? And are those actually going to be supplied during construction?
Yes, so we have a number of EV charging stations, and this is based off of the City of Paris's development code for this type of building. I believe a number of these will actually be installed day one. There's a number that it will be for future EV chargers in the future.
I noticed you do have one for accessibility too, for things.
That's correct.
That's all I have. I see the trash enclosure and its location. The access, there's an employee area, so that's pretty covered. So I don't really see anything additional to that. Sorry. Yes, I do have one additional.
Sure.
Sorry. The coastal stone or the stacked stone, what is the manufacturer style and color of that one?
So the stacked stone is a beige that matches the architecture of the building. This will be adhered to the building facade. The building will be a concrete tilt-up construction, and then the stone itself will be attached to the building.
Okay. Do you have a manufacturer for that?
If it's not on our material board, we could provide that as necessary.
Okay. Yeah, it's not on the material board. That's the only reason I'm asking. Thank you.
Just to clarify too, and I know I'm not colorblind. If you look at the stone, the adjacent properties have a gray, blue kind of coloration. This looks a little different. So I'm wondering if it's just the rendering that we see here, or am I missing something? Because on the board, we have stacked stone, but is that pure white? And then we have another one, it's super white, but this looks more yellowish, beige. So what are we going with here, actually?
It will appear white. I believe the rendering itself is more true color to that actual paint, but it will be white. As super white as it is, it's closer to a paper, like a blank piece of paper. This has a slight tint to it, a little bit more gray, but visually still white.
Okay. And I was just thinking that it's consistent with the other area. You know, there's only one building in that area that's brown. We'll probably have to change that one, hopefully. But you can see the consistency of blue and the grays all around. And then I'm just wondering, this is a little different, slightly different in coloration. That's just a personal thing. It just looks more beige yellow that would stand out from the other buildings that's right next to it. So they're mostly gray. All, even the corner of Parisville, they're all gray, the blue, that modern look. And this one, a little different. Almost looks brown and white. So am I missing something here? So that's one of those things I'm not sure about the color part. You're the architect, you tell me. But that's one we may want to check that one to make sure it's at least consistent with the other buildings in that area. I don't have a problem with anything else, but I'm just wondering. It's looking at this, you might get it misconstrued that it's just yellow, and I'm just wondering, just trying to get a fix on the actual color and the actual look, and also in relationship properties that are particularly to the west of there, that all have basically the same tone and all that. So that's the only question I was having. Maybe something to consider looking at, that the color consistency. Okay, I'm just speaking for one that would be here that would be worse than me. Trust me, a lot worse. But that's just a consideration. Just to also point to, having been in that area a lot, commerce between Lakeview and Johnson is a mess. There's traffic on both sides of that street. I couldn't even turn down there. The guy's unloading in the middle of the street. That's nice, isn't it? So then we had a big rig do a U-turn right in front of me. Big rig. What are you doing over there in the first place? He was over there. So that area gets really busy. Not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying you're going to go right out and then take a left turn. They're parked on both sides. And I don't know if that's employee parking, personal parking, but they're on that street. For some reason, that section is jam-packed with cars. You know, you go to the mountain, it's going to be parked. So that's, and they talked about some bakery or something there, and then there's a crematory next to that. It can't be the crematory. But that little section, because you don't have the 18-wheel and all that stuff, then it's just a smaller version of the truck that may not be much of an issue, but it's still jam-packed. I don't know what to do with that one. I mean, it really is hard to get through there. All the other things are fine, but just that section for some reason, to get to Johnson, to go to down Sinclair, to go to Redlands. Lastly, because these are not, and this is going to be a code definition, these are smaller trucks. These are not the big giant ones, so they technically can go down Redlands to Ryder. Something to be worked out, because they're not, and that's going to be a definition that's be for the future, but technically speaking, these are not your full-size trucks, so really, that's a consideration. Can you? And there's another development to the east of there that's going to be using basically the same route. So all are projected to turn left and go to Sinclair, back to Redlands, then Redlands to Ryder. So we need to make sure we understand that the size of the truck may make a difference versus the large one. We're not expecting the large rigs, but we got the small ones. What's to stop them from going to Ryder and turning right and going down Paris? So we're going to have to define truck. That's a city thing, not yours. But anyway, you're talking about 10 truck trips maybe in a whole week, maybe a whole month, who knows? But the standard deliveries. So I'm getting that understanding. So anyway, that's pretty much it for me, unless you guys had something else. Our resident architect is always going to have something.
I do have one additional thing. Alfredo, can you turn it to the landscape plan? Okay. So what I see here and what I see on the presentation that you printed out or for me earlier, Alfredo, is that this presentation that you printed out does not have any quantity of shrubs and accent plants. Everything is listed as 0.
As far as the shrubbery and ground coverage, yeah, we ran out of space and we didn't put in any of that.
Yeah, so it's not on this presentation, but in the one you printed out for me earlier today,
Oh.
it's listed as quantity zeros for shrubbery and accent plants.
Oh, I apologize. It is there.
I know it's planned, but
Yeah.
normally there's some quantities or something mentioned. It is probably going to have to be, I'm not sure if it's part of the actual planning documents that's in there, because there's 2 portions of it. One of it is, we're kind of approving the landscaping, but if it's not, the quantity's not shown here, then when you go to do the site visit and stuff, you have nothing to verify other than reapproved plans.
Mr.
A
Chair,
recheck plan.
Mr. Vice Chair, if I can just clarify, the information that's provided before you is more of a conceptual landscape plan. The applicant is required to provide detailed landscape and irrigation plans prior to issuance of building permits. At that point, staff will be able to ensure that adequate number of plant materials will be provided for this project.
Okay, maybe that's something I just got. So, I mean, sometimes we like to see what's there as well. So, right, thank you.
Okay. In essence, I guess for staff, it would have to be something that we'd have to note. We would have to note that if this is going to be a part of the COA, we would have to note that there. That the number is missing on this one, but if it's going to be official copy, we'd have to, we wouldn't see it, but it's something to be administrative that you'd have to say 2, I don't know, whatever the number is. It's showing 0 in the plans.
I understand. Like I explained, this is more of a conceptual
Right.
plan. So at the time when they submit detailed landscape and irrigation plans, that's when we'll ensure that the number of plant materials that are provided are going to provide the coverage that's proposed for this project, which it's 18.4%. We will not accept plans, detailed plans that show 0 quantities for shrubs or trees or ground cover. So you can rest assured that staff will make sure that the adequate landscaping that's proposed conceptually on this project will be provided.
Okay. We don't need to do anything in terms of adding to a number on the COA or anything.
Unless you would like to see specific plant materials, specific tree species that may want to be replaced for one reason or another, or if you would like additional landscaping in certain areas of the site, I encourage you to add a condition of approval. That's within your purview to add more landscaping in specific plants, in specific areas of the plan.
So the trees he chosen, I have no problem with the trees he chose. 3 of them are very sculptural. The Chipolca, desert willow, and blue Palo Verde are very sculptural and can be trimmed very nicely. The only the Brisbane box is the only one that's not sculptural and just more for shade than anything. Palo Verde is good for shade as well, but the other ones, they all could be trimmed to be very sculptural, which is nice in some aspects. Other than my concern with the quantities, that's all I got.
If I may, Chair Hammond, in regards to the color of the building, I think this document right here will show a better example. Did you see it? Yeah,
That's
it looks
actually a
like it's
good
all
example here,
grays
yeah.
and cools,
Yeah.
which is, in my opinion, pretty consistent with what's in the area.
So this, the other one's a little misleading, or it's just the print.
Oh,
It's just
yeah,
the print probably, just, yeah.
the image. So you don't have any issues with the
Oh,
color?
I don't have color blindness.
Eh,
One of the two, so, okay.
The only thing I would mention on the exterior elevations that are printed, those windows are not going to be that dark. They're going to be lighter.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to get renderings and when you actual see it, it's kind of difficult, but yeah. This one, the one that's printed out is the grays, that's it, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. At this time, we open it up for public comment on this specific item. Anyone wishing to address the planning commission can come forward and has 3 minutes to which to express their opinions. Yes. Mhm. And do me a favor and state your full name and spell your last name for us.
Monica Carmen Delatorre.
Closer, a little closer.
Monica Carmen Delatorre, Delatorre. I live really close to both of these developments, and my concern is the roads, because they're gotten really bad, and I already popped a tire. So with these diesel trucks coming in and out all the time, are our roads gonna be maintained throughout this time?
It's your time.
That's kind of my concern, is the roads, more so than anything, because, a lot of, they're really bad around these areas, and especially the freeway. Sorry, that's my concern about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, at this time, we close the public comment and move to the commission.
This was a pretty easy project for me. This project is in the correct zoning. It's in an area tucked away from residences, away from the big roads like Ryder and Paris. The architecture and the color is consistent with what's in the area. On top of that, it's not even using big rigs regularly, so I feel like it won't be much of a nuisance to the surrounding area. So I have no issues with this project.
I concur with Commissioner Lopez. This project is cited very well. It sits in a neighborhood that doesn't have very many residents, or the residents are not very close. It's a small box. storage or warehouse facility that's going to be housing electronics for, I don't know if it's for distribution or for sales. Didn't ask that question, and I'm not going to pose the question to be answered now, but I think it's a project that's going to sit well in that community and neighborhood.
And once again, I concur. This is a slam dunk. So we just asked because we're planning commission and we like to pick on people. But no, there's no problems with this project. And then any questions are they're just tweaking things like truck routes. And I'm just giving a hard time to engineer, really. But no, we have no problem with it. Yes, Pat, we don't have any problem with it. But I just think one of the things in consistency is, to me, a traditional business park looks pretty much like what those buildings are on Paris Boulevard. It's more of they call it light industrial, but to me, it's kind of a business park in the sense you have small, light manufacturing. It's not warehouse levels, 200,000 square feet. So to me, it's more traditional, like in a business park, which is better than the 80s and 70s building. Okay, you build them in the 80s, 70s. And I've seen those. You don't want to build those. Okay, but this is nice. I appreciate the architecture. I appreciate the landscaping. So and the uplighting. That makes a big difference when you start doing that as a commission, you start demanding these things, and you get the high quality. So I have no problem with that. I think whatever issues that might possibly be addressed are minor issues, and we're sure the engineering and our staff will take over. So I have no problem with the project at all. And I just think as we continue to build in this area is designated for that. It's not designated for anything else. It's designated for this type of thing. And we're not talking big rigs. We're not talking something that's going to have a lot of impact to the north and other places to the east on Ryder, but this particular project fits into this type of thing. So I have no problem whatsoever with this one. And I'm not going to delay that anymore. Anything else?
No.
Okay, we're good. At this time, let me read this. Item 6C, parcel merger 24-000013 and development plan review 23-000003. Proposal to merge 3 contiguous parcels to facilitate the development of a 24,090 square foot industrial building, on 1.51 acres located on the west side of Lakeview Drive between Commerce Drive and Business Park Drive within the light industrial zone of the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. Requested action is adopt resolution number 24-22, finding the project is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act review pursuant to section 15332, infill development projects, and approving parcel merger 24-00013 and development plan review 23-00003 to facilitate development of a 24,090 square foot industrial building on 1.51 acres. Based on the findings and subject condition of approval, we don't have any amendments to add. It's just that the staff would look into the number of species of those type of, let's see, landscape.
Quantity of landscaping.
Yeah, landscape, whatever you said. Landscaping. And essentially, that's it for me that I know.
And if we can add, Mr. Chair, the modification requested
Yeah,
to planning
that was-
condition number 44 to be consistent with
Okay.
engineering condition number 5B.
Okay, I'll add it again then, okay.
And then the only thing I request as well is that the finish of the stone is properly noted on the construction documents upon approval.
Well, the condition, the manufacturer?
Yeah, the manufacturing style and color.
Oh, okay. Got that? Okay. Okay. And with that, we have a motion, and this is for Sylvia to adopt resolution for approval. Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Lopez. There's only, go for it. You want the chairman to do it? Okay. I'll second it. Okay. Yeah.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With a vote of 3-0, this motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Alfredo. Mhm. We move to item 7, public comments. Anyone wishing to address the Planning Commission regarding items not on the agenda may do so at this time. And you can walk up to the podium and wait for the chairperson to recognize you. Speak clearly, give your name. We're not going to ask for your last name, ever, or address, ever, so that we can at least get a basic recording and 3 minutes to address the Planning Commission. So on any item not specifically on this agenda, you're welcome to come forward at this time. Okay. And just for the record, just state your full name, last name, nothing else.
Monica Delatore, Delatore. I just want to know, do you guys have any plans to building any new restaurants around here other than fast food? Because kind of sucks to drive to a different city to enjoy a good meal. Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, and then my other concern is the roads are really bad here lately. With the semis coming in and out and having to pop a tire on the freeway pregnant is not fun. So that's another major concern with the roads, especially on the freeway. I don't know if that's part of our city, but the freeway roads are really bad too.
Okay.
But that's it. And I think you guys are doing a great job on cleaning up the town, though. Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
So Monica, I would just encourage you to get with Patricia or the.
Engineer.
She can probably give you with the economic department. Might be able to tell you
That's just what I was going to say, yeah.
future restaurants might be coming to town or.
Thank you.
You can call Brad for all your questions. Okay.
You could blame Brad for the streets, he's right there.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We close the public comment portion, and we move to item 8, business, no items that I'm aware of. Okay, and we come to item 9, commission members' announcements or reports.
We just had a Thanksgiving holiday, so I wish that everybody had a good Thanksgiving, got the day off and got to spend time with their family, enjoy some holiday meals with turkey and mashed potatoes and all that good stuff. We also got the Christmas tree lighting coming up this Friday. And the following Saturday, we have the Christmas parade. So we got a lot of festivities coming this month. Looking forward to that, and I hope to see a lot of the residents out there.
Yeah, the same for me. I am looking forward to the Christmas tree lighting. And then in addition, the following week, the parade. Looking forward to walking the parade and showing the Christmas spirit and seeing all the residents of City of Paris lining up the streets to see Santa. And all the other other entrants that walk along the street for us. So that's nice to see, and I appreciate that every year that I attend, and every year it continues.
Okay, I'm going to leave a lot of the announcements for our director, but yes, not only do they have the tree lighting at 5 o'clock on Friday night, but the Cesar Chavez, I will be going to the Cesar Chavez reopening, so I won't have anything else to do because I'll be busy doing all this stuff. At 4 o'clock, I don't know who planned that, but they did. But 4 o'clock we'll do that. 5 o'clock will be the lighting. It's a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of people, guys. A lot, maybe 1,000 or more. So if you're gonna be there, you get ready. But it's an exciting event. It's very nice. I get pulled on the stage whether I like it or not. I'm not gonna sing, but I probably will get pulled on the stage. That's okay. You know, I can sing, but not that night. But it's gonna be fun. We invite, and then I think obviously the Christmas parade, which I'm hoping we will walk in, that gets to be fun too. And they're fixing the street over on that street, so you got to watch it because they're doing the sidewalks and a lot of other repairs. You have to ask Brad what's going on. But yeah, that got to be quite an issue the last time. But there's going to be more people this time, so we're assuming. So that should be fun. And I think the Winter Wonderland is also coming up. So If we have time to do anything else, I don't think so. But yeah, we really appreciate, there's a lot going on there. Raising Cane's, I'm pretty sure will be soon opening. They're coming out, and all what the other stuff we're not gonna, obviously never gonna mention. But that sign is in your face, you can't miss it. But there's a lot of good stuff going on, and we appreciate this commission throughout this whole year, and they've done a lot of hard work. We're very detailed, as people are finding out, as you're finding out. It's a very detailed commission, probably one of the most in the state. So you get through here, you're gonna get taken to the, rake through the coals. So, and I've been in about 4 different cities, and 4, and this is the most detailed. So, but I appreciate that. We try because not because we're great, because we love the city. Period. There's nothing else. But anyway, turn it over to our wonderful director, and we have one more meeting, so we're not going to say goodbye yet, but we do have one more meeting. Okay.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the last meeting in 2024, we're going to have the 2 items that were continued today. And for the activities, you mentioned all the activities. On Friday, we're having the lighting ceremony, which starts here at 5 o'clock. We also have the Winter Wonderland on Saturday, which starts at 11 a.m. And we have the 34th Annual Christmas Parade on December 14th, which I'm also looking forward to. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you to our gentleman in there, our interpreter. I should have him come out and talk once, but I won't do it. No way. And audio staff who's looking at me like I'm crazy. I told you it was almost an hour and a half, so don't look at me like that, okay? Gee, these daggers. Daggers with a smile is even worse, right? Yeah. But I really appreciate them. They do a good job. They put up with me, so they do a good job, right? And our city attorney, we appreciate you. Do you do the city council, or someone else does the city council?
Sunny does the city council.
Oh, okay.
Sunny Sultani.
Oh, okay, you got off that one.
City attorney, so
Yeah.
that's how we do it.
No, we appreciate you. Good luck. Welcome you aboard. Okay. And thank you, Sylvia. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank her, because I'll hear about it. Known her for a long time, guys. Okay. We started when we were 18, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. But anyway, with that, I know. Thank you, audience. Thank you, everyone. We're going to adjourn. Let me get the exact time.
Before you adjourn, Commissioner Hammond, just to clarify, Patricia, that item 6A is going to be continued for next meeting as well.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. How do we do that? So we just carried it on. They just pass over, right? You just don't.
There was no quorum, so
You
we
can't-
just said we'll list it the same way for the next
Okay,
meeting.
good,
And I
good.
think a courtesy notice, maybe a courtesy public hearing notice would be a good idea, but not strictly required. But if we didn't make it clear what the date, time, and place were, a courtesy notice may be a good idea.
Good.
I think we made it sufficiently clear, but it can't hurt to give a courtesy public hearing notice.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Okay, it's 7:30 p.m. and we have an adjournment for this meeting. There's only 3 of us, so you pick whoever you want. Thank you much. Thank you to our audience. Thank you. Your notes have been taken. Don't worry. Okay, and feel free to always contact. Always feel free. There's wonderful staff. You get the check tomorrow. Okay. Thank you very much, and we adjourn.